She thought it was just another day. A simple ride from a stranger, a thumb outstretched by the roadside. But in the blink of an eye, Colleen Stan vanished. For the next 7 years, she would live inside a coffin-sized box, hidden from the world, her screams unheard, her hopes slowly fading. This is not fiction. This is one of the most terrifying, real abduction stories in modern history, a nightmare that seemed impossible to survive. Colleen Stan was 20 years old in 1977, a free spirit from Oregon, full of life, excitement, and adventure. Like many young women of the time, she trusted in the kindness of strangers. She had successfully hitchhiked multiple times before and never imagined that the next ride she took would be the one that changed her life forever. It was May 19th. Colleen was headed to a friend's birthday party in Northern California. She stood on the side of the highway near Chico, her thumb out, a confident smile on her face. A blue Dodge Colt pulled over. Inside were Cameron and Janice Hooker, a quiet, seemingly ordinary young couple with a baby in the back seat. Colleen hesitated for a second. A family car, a baby, what danger could there be? It felt safe. She got in. The ride began with light chatter. Cameron, a soft-spoken man in his early 20s, seemed shy. Janice was polite, attentive. But then, they stopped at a gas station. Colleen went to the restroom. Something inside her whispered, "Don't go back." But she ignored it. That decision would cost her 7 years of her life. As they drove through the remote backroads of Red Bluff, California, the atmosphere shifted. Without warning, Cameron pulled off to a dirt path and parked. He reached under the seat and pulled out a strange wooden contraption, something Colleen had never seen before. Before she could react, he forced it over her head. It was a box. A wooden, soundproof box. Heavy. Suffocating. Colleen couldn't scream. She could barely breathe. Cameron had planned this for months. He was a sadistic man with dark fantasies. Janice, his wife, had agreed to help him, under one chilling condition, that Cameron would no longer harm her if he could have another slave. That slave was now Colleen. He took her to their home, a small house that looked innocent from the outside. But beneath it was a hell of horror. For the first days, Colleen was kept in a tiny box. Naked. Cold. Alone. Only pulled out when Cameron wanted to torture her. He whipped her. Electrocuted her. Tied her to strange bondage devices. He told her she was now owned by a powerful organization called the Company, a secret group that punished escapees and tracked their every move. He showed her forged documents, fake IDs, even staged phone calls. The message was clear: try to escape, and you, and your family, will die. To break her completely, Cameron constructed a coffin-like box under the bed where she would spend 23 hours a day. She could not sit up. She could not move. Summer or winter, she endured heat, cold, and suffocating darkness. Janice brought her food once a day. A small sandwich. A little water. No one else in the world knew where Colleen was. She became invisible. A ghost. And still, she obeyed. Out of fear. Out of hopelessness. Out of conditioning. After years of this nightmare, something changed. In 1981, 4 years after the abduction, Cameron allowed Colleen to come upstairs more often. He even let her do chores around the house, like vacuuming and laundry, still as a slave, still under the threat of the Company. Cameron told her to sign a slave contract. He took a photo of her in chains and said it would be sent to the Company for their records. The psychological torture was relentless. In a stunning twist, Cameron took her to visit her own parents in 1981. Colleen was terrified but obedient. She told them she was in a relationship and working as a nanny. They believed her, but something felt off. She stayed only 24 hours before returning to captivity. Her family had no idea what she'd been through. But things started to unravel in 1983. Janice, the woman who had once helped imprison Colleen, was now feeling the weight of guilt. She had been living a double life for too long, enduring Cameron's control herself. Their marriage was collapsing. Cameron had started eyeing new victims. That was Janice's breaking point. In August 1984, Janice confessed to her pastor, revealing everything: the kidnapping, the abuse, the box, the company, all of it. The pastor urged her to go to the police. Before she did, Janice told Colleen the truth: the company never existed. Every threat had been a lie. Colleen broke down. She cried for hours. Not just out of fear or grief, but because she had believed every word for 7 years. She could have escaped any time. She could have screamed. She could have run. But her mind had been a cage far stronger than any box. Janice helped her escape. No police. No rescue. No dramatic SWAT raid. Just a quiet departure on a normal afternoon. Colleen boarded a bus and vanished from the hookers' lives. When police finally arrested Cameron Hooker, they found a trove of bondage devices, drawings, whips, photos, and documents. Janice, in exchange for full immunity, testified against him in court. The trial was shocking. Jurors couldn't believe what they were hearing. A woman living in a box. For 7 years. And no one noticed. Colleen stood on the witness stand. Calm. Brave. She described the torture, the fear, the hopelessness. The courtroom was silent. Many wept. In 1985, Cameron Hooker was sentenced to 104 years in prison. The judge called it one of the most disturbing cases he had ever seen. But what happened after was equally astonishing. Colleen Stan didn't retreat from the world. She didn't hide. She rebuilt her life. She got a job. Fell in love. Had a family. She even worked with women's shelters to help other victims of abuse and trauma. When asked in interviews how she survived, she simply said, hope. And faith. Even in the darkest box, beneath the bed of her abuser, with no light or sound or warmth, she had hope. And that is what makes this story so haunting, not just the evil of a man or the silence of a house, but the unimaginable strength of a young woman who refused to be broken. The girl in the box lived. And her voice, once silenced, now echoes around the world as a chilling reminder: evil can hide behind the most ordinary faces.